What y'all got?
Matt, it was a big recruiting weekend for you guys. I mean, just how did it go overall?
Yeah, I thought it was great. I think we've had recruits here every single day from that first Monday. We want to be open. I thought a big part of it was, we had a lot of former Cornhusker football players here this past weekend. So it was great to host them. I think anytime you have 2 Heisman Trophy winners at our practice, it's pretty cool, and so I thought it was just a great vibe all around. Lots of high school coaches, a ton of recruits and their families, former players. It was a really good weekend. And, I think in recruiting, a lot of people are curious, right? So, everywhere I go, people are kind of asking me, like, hey, we're going to land this guy. Hey, to me, we don't put time frames on things. We wanted everyone to get here to see it, to see the staff, to see the campus, to see the opportunity, to see the new building right behind us, just sort of see everything, and then hopefully we can get them back for the spring game or for official visits, and we'll have a good class.
Was that the biggest recruiting weekend you had, just in terms of depth, talent, and numbers throughout coaching career, whether it's head coach or an assistant? I mean, going back to even.
Yeah, I think the thing that I had, I think the thing even at Temple, like, we had a lot of great players come through there because it was right in Philadelphia. Baylor was right in the middle of Texas. So I think we always had a lot of good players come through, but that was a really fine group that we had coming through this weekend, and really, really great families. Really cool people. The thing that we don't do is we don't really recruit. We're not trying to talk slick. We're not trying to tell everybody, things that they want to hear. We very simply talk about our program, how we're going to do things, what we're built upon, and also our vision for each person and what it'll be like when they're here. So it's really transparent. It's not for everybody, but I think a lot of guys will find that they'll want to come to a place like this, come to Nebraska.
We had a chance to talk to Ramir Johnson. I know somebody you were interested in kind of seeing before camp started. What has he kind of shown maybe in those first 4 to 5 practices, and maybe how can you guys utilize him a little bit more than you utilized last year?
I think when you go back 2 years ago, you see Ramir as, really, really a productive player. I've been really, really happy with him. I've been happy with him all off season, but I think he's had a really, really good camp. I think he had like I don't know what period it was. I think maybe the first play, I think he had like a 60-yard run the other day. I think the thing with Ramir is he's quiet. He does what Christian McCaffrey used to say to me. He wished that players would, the best players play loud, and so Ramir so far is playing loud. Excellent outside zone runner, but running with power, picks up blitzes, can run all of our our halfback passing game is. There's a lot of option routes, a lot of things that require some depth, and he's picking it up really well, really coachable, and an excellent guy all throughout the program. I think if you talk to anybody, everyone likes him. So really happy with him. I think he has a ton of roles. Today we had a couple of receivers down. Asked him, I said, hey, be ready to go out and play in the slot. I think he's a guy that could do all of that.
How do you get a player who's quiet to turn the volume up?
One of the best players I've ever coached is Stephon Gilmore, the quietest guy, one of the quietest guys I've ever been around. One of the benefits of playing, I think, for our staff is that we don't try to change who you are. A lot of coaches want you to fit into this cookie cutter mold. I think it's really affecting young people. I got guys on this team, like they're into photography, they're into cooking, they're into this, and then they go to these other places that want them just to be a football player. These guys aren't football players. They're young people who play football, and so I want them to be themselves. And so, we traded for C.J. Henderson in Carolina, as quiet a guy as I've ever been around. I don't need spokespeople. I need leaders. I don't need people who are great in front of the camera. I think, a lot of people talk about a lot of our videos. If you notice in our videos that we post, and I'm proud to post those, they're always of us working. They're never of us talking, right? They're always of us working, and the program is built on work. It's not built on hype. Ramir doesn't have to change anything about himself, personality-wise. Just has to play loud, make plays.
Yeah, Matt, were there any position changes you made with guys? Maybe like those guys in gray jerseys.
Yeah.
Explain more of that.
Yeah, the gray jersey guys are guys kind of doing 2 ways, playing both ways for us. So Jaleel, the numbers went down at wide out. He came over and gave us some reps at wide receiver today. So he's still playing defensive back, but also playing receiver. AJ Rollins, he's gone over a couple times as a defensive lineman. I think he's probably had the most sacks on the team. So he practiced with the D-line today, but also can give us reps at tight end. So I think I personally think he has a real future there. You know, I don't make guys move. I think he's feeling his way, but he's a great kid. You know, he's kind of like, when I say kid, he's a young man. He's a great young man. He's sort of like, hey, what do you think is best? So we've kind of been playing him both ways over the last couple of weeks, and then we put him over on defense, but kept the gray jersey on him, just in case we need to move him over to offense. You know, that way Jay's not having to run a penny out there. So I think those would be two main ones. I don't know if there's anything else, Keith.
Those are my two grays.
Yeah. So, but even other position changes. Yeah, I think that's it. So, you know, it's one of the challenges I've told the team is this is such a great group of guys, and they don't want to make a mistake. And playing football and being good at football and practicing is about making a lot of mistakes and correcting the mistakes. The key is to not make repetitive mistakes. So trying to get them just to kind of relax a little bit, and, you know, everything's new for them. We go out there today. Today was, you know, sometimes you see me, I have to call them all up and talk to them like, hey, calm down. This is the drill. Some coaches are new. So we're kind of still feeling our way. I could see a couple more position changes probably in the near future with some guys just to help them get on the field.
Coach, can you elaborate on taking away the single-digit jersey numbers?
Yeah, so when I was at Temple, it started when I was the offensive coordinator at Temple. Al Golden was the head coach, and then I did it when I was the head coach there, and I did it as the head coach at Baylor. Hey, guys, great to see you. Then I was the head coach at Baylor. And then, like, Willie Taggart took it to Oregon when he went there, so it kind of became something. But I got really tired of having a guy in my program who had spent 3 years in, like, number 47, was getting ready to play and wanted to wear number 1 or number 3, and he had earned it, and we would give it to a recruit. So what we decided was, you know what, 1 through 9, and now 0 through 9, would go to the, you know, the 9 or now 10 toughest guys on the team. And when I say toughest, you know, we define that for the guys, but really the guys who best exemplify what it means, you know, to be a Cornhusker, right? To be accountable, to be dependable, to be tough, hardworking, competitive every single day. And so, as we get into training camp, those, you know, we'll vote on it. It won't be the coaches; the players will vote on it, and we hope it kind of becomes a tradition. So, while as we have wholeheartedly embraced all the great traditions that are here, hopefully this will be something new that people will get into, and there will be a long line of, you know, guys who, you know, earn that jersey number. A lot of respect for the guys that were in those single-digit jerseys, because they, you know, it's not fun to have your number taken away. But I think the cool thing now is, as recruits say it to me, as guys say it to me, can I wear number 3? Absolutely. Just have to earn it. And there's no delineation, right? The first guy that we vote in, he picks whichever number he wants. The second guy, he picks whatever number he wants. And over time, at least at Temple, like, hey, the number 6s were all kind of this position. The number 3s were all DBs, you know. I've had freshmen earn it. I've had seniors earn it. I've had times where we didn't get to all 9, unfortunately, early on. We'll have 9 or 10 guys here. There's plenty of guys who deserve those numbers.
Coach, has Casey been given any kind of green light to do some light throwing, or like he was doing a little bit in warm-ups, or is that just what he's been doing?
I hate that I don't have that correct answer. He's not throwing with us yet, so they talked last week about beginning a progression, but I'm not sure the exact date. So I will say Casey's doing a wonderful job of like, he's kind of become like a coach. Like he he's in there every night working. He knows the progressions as well as anybody, the depths. I mean, he's really a smart guy who's putting a lot of time in.
We got to talk to Jeff Sims a little bit today. What have your early impressions been on the field? How do you acclimate to the program?
Yeah, you know, I think like he's probably like everyone else. He's trying to learn the system, learn the footwork. Everything's new for him. You know, I think Jeff brings a dynamic element into the game in that he can throw and run and is really smart and is a great teammate. I think the guys all really like him. I think he has natural leadership capabilities. So I'm excited to see what he does. You know, I think, you know, we've kind of, every day's been a little bit different. You know, we started off throwing it, and then Thursday we ran it a ton to get, because first day on pads. Saturday we mixed it. Today we finished with, you know, 2-minute drills and stuff like that. So I think Jeff has a ton of potential. He just, you know, just needs reps, needs to get comfortable.
You had made a comment about, I want to go back to you really quick with the gray jerseys and the switching positions, or maybe playing both ways. You said now a couple of times that you want them to be, like, you want them to be a part of that decision. So if somebody maybe sees an opportunity, how do they approach that to you? Is it kind of a joint conversation? I'm just kind of curious how those conversations start?
If they see the opportunity?
Yes.
Yeah, the hardest thing about being the head coach is no one really wants to talk to me. Coaches and staff, they all say I'm hard to approach. Do I seem hard to approach to you guys? I mean, like, I don't think so. But I've had guys come in. You know, I mean, I've had guys come in and say, I really think I want to play receiver. And I say, go and play receiver then, you know. I think I'm trying to be, you know, sometimes, you know, you think you are and you're not. I think we're really, really direct and honest with guys. So the good news is then we say, hey, I think you really have a future here. I hope they believe it. Because if I think they're in the wrong position, I'll tell them that too. So, but I've had guys come to me and say, hey, coach, can I play this? Can I play that? You know, we moved Bonner from wide out to like an F tight end type of a guy, and I mean, I think it's been a dynamic move for him. I can see him really having a future there. So, one great thing about spring is we can move somebody, and if it's not right, it's not working out, they can always go back. So, hopefully we, you know, like again, that's why we spend so much time with the guys and eat together and hang out together so that they feel comfortable. And if it's not comfortable talking to me, they can go to somebody else, and hopefully we have that sort of dynamic within the staff.
That first day of practice, you said you couldn't sleep the night before. Some of the newness starting to wear off for you being here?
Yes. You know, even you guys saw me when I brought him up, you know, at the beginning, like, you know, to me, the greatest measure of a man is his consistency. And so, you know, like, you know, I told him the analogy of the Navy SEALs. You know, you get the Navy SEALs, they go to BUD/S, they get to Hell Week. You know, you get the best of the best. Everybody can do it for a day. It's just who can withstand the volume. You know, Mike Lombardi, who wrote the book Gridiron Genius, he taught this to our staff years ago. Like, who has the competitive stamina to be able to do it day after day after day? This is typically the worst practice in my history, is the Tuesday after the first week. You know, you go 4 practices, you have the adrenaline that first Saturday. I thought they did a pretty good job. You know, I challenged them right there, like, hey, what's this going to look like? Challenged the coaches. I think the players are getting used to the fact that I'll challenge the coaches. I'll challenge myself, you know, like, so. So while the newness is worn off, and now it's just about the, like, hey, can we grind out the details, you know? And so we have a good group of guys. And I do think the fact that we have so many guys out for spring football allows us to have a lot of competition periods, and competition is what these guys really want, right? You know, they've grown up playing games, playing video games, playing, or, you know, maybe some of us grew up just kind of playing out back. They've played in organized leagues and all that their whole lives, so like they know competition, and so we're trying to have to keep it fresh that way.
Seems like you have scrimmage day this week at all. You guys do 1 year spring scrimmage.
Yeah, well, this Saturday will be one of our scrimmage days. You know, what exactly that looks like, you know, if that's full the whole time or if that's halfway. You know, we only have 12 offensive linemen. So what exactly that looks like, but there'll be, you know, we did some live work on Saturday. That was one of our, the NCAA basically has no contact, partial tackling, and scrimmage days. They have 4 categories of days and a certain amount. So today was like today was a contact but no tackling day. Thursday will be you can do some tackling. I haven't always done that, but you can. Saturday will be some live work. Hopefully we can get over in the stadium and do a little bit in there.
I'm curious about the offensive line. You just mentioned there were 12 available today. That seems like a low number. How concerned are you about trying to get those numbers up in the offseason? But I was also specifically interested in Jacob Hood and Gunnar Katula, who are brand new to the
I think that's probably a low, in all seriousness, I mean it's probably a low number at Nebraska, because you guys are used to having 200 guys on the roster, 150. I think having 12 linemen this time of year is about what I'm kind of used to, you know. So I think we have 3 or 4 great walk-on offensive linemen that are just, I mean, I think Dylan Parrott's a guy that could play. I mean, he could develop and he could play. Keegan Menning's a guy that can help us, you know. So, you know, Ezra Miller's been banged up, but I think, you know, he's a guy that could help us. And Jersey, my guy from Jersey, Mancino, like he's fantastic. Like he's a great dude, and he can play. He can help us. So, you know, we're one of those. We're lucky in that we don't have to say, like, every year I've been in spring football. It's like, don't ever let that guy in the drill with Nash. You know what I mean? I don't have to worry about that. So we're able to mix 3 groups and roll 3 groups, and they're grinding hard for us. We're bringing some guys in. But we'll always look for, especially as we want to have the best walk-on program in football, always looking for big guys in the walk-on program who can develop. I think the second part of your question was what? Gunner's done a great job. I mean, he's having to play, left tackle, which is the hardest position to learn. He's going against good players. I'm really, really excited about where he is as a young player. Obviously he's got a long way to go, but I've seen a lot of young players be overwhelmed, especially at that position. And then Jacob, Jacob's had a lot happen, just from he had some medical things he had to get done. We have just some tremendous medical help here. I mean, Drew Hamlin has stepped in and done a great job, and so he got back. And I think he's coming. He's got a lot of work to do, but he's coming.
Okay, Anthony, have you had Anthony Grant back? Was he back out there?
Yep, he was out there. Yep.
Okay. But he's in good standing. Where does he?
Yeah. There's never a bad standing with me, right? Like if you haven't done something or there's something that causes me to say, hey, you can't practice, it's real simple for me. Like if you have a pulled hamstring, you can't practice. Doesn't mean I don't love you. It just means you can't practice. If something's happened like academically or socially or anything like that, and I say, hey, right now you can't practice, doesn't mean I don't love you, right? And I think that's one of the big things, that we want the guys to understand. Like we're gonna correct actions, but we always gonna love the guys. I love Anthony. It's an adjustment, man. He was here, he was somewhere else, and then he was here. I think he was somewhere else, then he was somewhere else, then he was here. It's a lot of different changes, and so he's getting used to us. But he's a wonderful, wonderful person. So we're, he's obviously a little bit behind, and I'm not gonna not give those other guys the reps because, tell you, I don't know what the rest of the Big Ten running back rooms look like, but we got a pretty good running back room now. Gabe Irvin's doing some really, 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 really powerful, good things, and A.J. Allen's hitting some big, big runs, and so we have a good running back room. We talked about Ramir, we talked about Anthony. Trevin Lubin does a great job for us. So I'm forgetting one person. Emmett, you can see the point guard in Emmett, right? Like he's a ball carrier. So I think actually a couple of you guys I was staying on the sideline with, I talked about how much I liked Emmett. So we got a good room.
All good. Matt, when you guys went to individual team drills, there are 3 different groupings inside. Are those already separated into 1, 2, 3s? How?
No.
Separations?
Yeah, no. They're doing like circuits, just defensive circuits. So. I think we just try to pair up, make sure like there's 2 really big guys. What we don't want to do is what we can't do is normally you just go, hey, skill, DBs, because we have more DBs than any team in the country right now. So DBs, linebackers, bigs. So we just kind of move them around, just pair guys up. So we have some, like, when we rotate it, we have some, like, we call it A, B, and C, but those change. Like, I told the guys, I really believe this, like, I can't even begin to think about a depth chart until the fall. In fact, I tell the staff all the time, please do not evaluate their technical skills and drills and like, oh, this guy, he can do this, he can't do that yet. Try to improve it. We will look at like skill set and traits, like, well, this guy's explosive, this guy's twitchy, but in our system, you come in, we're teaching the offense and defense right now, right? And then over the summer, we'll try to improve it. Then in training camp, fall camp, we'll try to perfect it, and then the season we'll try to execute it. So that's why I said a lot of the players are getting like this, like, why am I not? I'm like, because you've done it for 4 days, The same thing with the coaches. So I'm really taking that methodical, detailed, like, hey, the worst thing you can do is write a player off. It's the worst thing that you can do, because there's guys on our team right now that are probably sitting in that locker room that are walk-ons that are like, man, am I ever going to play here? Then, man, I'm going to turn to them in the middle of the season and be like, I need you to go do this, and they're going to go do it. And so our job as coaches is to coach everybody, right? And then as we get into the season and all that, things will happen. And we will be a little different than what has happened the last couple of years. Like, if we're playing the same 11 guys on defense all game, I'm going to lose my mind, right? I want to be playing 18, 19, 20 guys on defense. I want to play, we're not going to just come out in one personnel grouping. So I got to get a lot of guys ready. That's why I'm moving guys around, trying different positions. And then every once in a while, you stumble onto an AJ who goes over to defense and just, you're like, holy smokes, look at this. So that's why it's not truly a depth chart, but we do have to organize each practice, and we try to rotate it a little bit and see what's what. All right, it's great to see everybody. Thank you, guys.